It can seem like Premiere Pro has rather a lot of buttons to click on when you first start using it. But the good news is that when you need to use a button, you'll know what you want to do, and most of the time you'll recognize what you need to click on and when. But for this lesson, I just thought it would be helpful to very quickly run through the entire process from creating a project, importing, editing, and export. Let's see if we can do this in 4 minutes flat. So first of all, I'm on the home screen. I'm going to click New Project, and I am going to call this Amazing Project. I'm happy with the location. I'm going to not skip import mode this time. I'm not going to use a template either. Templates are preset projects that have already got some organization built in, and I'm going to click Create. This is going to take me into the import mode, and we'll cover this in detail in another lesson. But on the left, we've got the various locations on our system. Up at the top, we've got a kind of breadcrumb trail that you might be familiar with from both macOS and Windows. And I'm going to click on the Assets folder here. Now, if you single click, you'll select the entire folder. So I'm going to double click to open this folder, and then I'm going to choose the contents that I'm interested in. I think I'll have all of these. Now, the order that you click is relevant. You'll notice at the bottom left corner, I'm getting thumbnails for the clips in the order I selected them. But it's only really relevant because of this option over here. We've got all these import settings. We can organize the media in a bin. I don't really need that. We can create copies of the media. I'm not going to bother with that now. We can create transcriptions. None of this is particularly interesting, but you'll notice that we've got this Create New Sequence option, which I'm going to leave switched off. So with that off, I'm just going to click Import. And now we're in Premiere Pro, we've got our clips, and we're ready to edit manually. If I turn that option on, I'd have a sequence pre-built with the clips in the order that I had selected them. It's a really quick way of pre-building your project. So here I've got my clips, and in the lower left corner you can see I'm in list view. I can click into thumbnail view, hover my cursor over these thumbnails and get a preview of the contents of the clips. And the first thing I want to do is create a sequence to put the clips into. So I'm going to take one of these. These all have the same media settings. If I go back to list view and just scroll along, you can see the frame rates, 24 frames per second. We've got a media start, media end time code. We've got a total duration, and the video info shows this is 720p, 1280 by 720 pixels. I'm just going to drag any of these. Let's go back to the icon view. I'll drag one of these into the empty timeline panel, and Premiere Pro is going to create a sequence with the same name as the clip, and it'll have settings that match the clip as well. This is the same result as right-clicking on a clip and choosing New Sequence from Clip, or for that matter, you can drag a clip down here onto the new Item button menu. Adobe just calls this a menu. I always think of it as a button menu, and you'll have the same result. Now, I don't know if I want all of this clip at the beginning of my sequence, so I'm just going to select it and hit the backspace key or delete to remove it, and you can see the thumbnail for the sequence updates. Now, you can see at the lower right corner, there is a little icon indicating that this is a sequence. I'm going to click to select the name, and I'll call this Wonderful Sequence. Now, if you press carriage return, you'll select another item. I'm going to press function carriage return or the enter key and apply that name change. So now I'm going to double click. Let's start with this shot here. I'm double clicking and I can scrub through. This is the time ruler along the bottom here that shows the duration of the clip. And I'm just going to say I want from this part here, mark an in point, to this part here, mark an out point, and I can now drag this into my sequence. I'll put this on video 1. That's the first clip in my sequence. Let's see, let's take a little bit of this shot. I'm double clicking. Let's go from maybe here. I'm pressing the I key for the in point, the beginning of the part I want. And here, that'll do. I'll mark an out point with the O key. That's this button right here. Drag this down. Now these clips only have video. They don't have audio. And I suppose we can have this shot. I'll double click again. Maybe we'll take this moment as she sits down. Now, ordinarily, you'd review your content and you would make sure that you're happy with what's going to be included in your movie. The review process is very important. We'll get to that later. But for now, I'm just going to use my Jedi mind powers and select these items. Now, once you're happy with the contents of your sequence, all that remains is to share it with the world. Now, I know I've only got 3 clips here, but honestly, editing is just more of this. Again and again, adding the content you want. We'll get into moving the order around and changing the timing later. But if all you want to do is lay some clips into a sequence, as I have here, you can now click up here in the Quick Export menu, and you can specify a location for your newly exported media file to go. Choose a preset. I'm going to go with Match Source Adaptive High Bitrate. This is an automatic option that will choose just the right bitrate and the right settings for you to share your media with the world, and it'll probably be an acceptable format, and you can just click Export. You can change the location for the file by clicking this blue text, but if you're happy with the content, and you're happy to export into a file with these settings, 1280 by 720, H.264 codec, 24 frames per second, and so on, you can just click export and you're good to go.